All right, it's sales pitch time. You ready for another bold new business venture here on Dead and Lovely?
Yeah, I think so.
You know I'm an idea man.
Yeah, okay. I know that. Now, listen, I paused a little bit because you come often with ideas. Very often you come with these ideas. So I would say, yes, you are an idea man. Yes.
Correct. I might not always follow through, but I do put the ideas out there. And I think I've just had the best one, especially for people who are here listening to this horror podcast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be real excited to hear this very awesome idea. Let's go.
All right. Now, I know that a lot of our Dead and Lovely listeners in life,
oh no,
they might find themselves maybe getting a little lonely and a little bit randy. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. No, I can see how that could happen.
Now, if only they had a 900 number that they could call and pay for with their Visa debit card to get on the line with the hottest and sultriest Cinobots from beyond this realm and others to have some good, sexy pillow talk. If only there's a phone line for them.
Right, all right.
That's why they need to go and check out chattererbait.com where they could talk with the Chatterer and the other hot Sternobots from the Hellraiser universe.
Yeah. Okay.
Chatterer bait.
Now, I feel like the only one we really hear talk much is Pinhead.
He's pretty talky, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of now am interested. Like, what does Butterball sound like? Does he have like a deep, sexy voice? Or is it like a surprise where you're like, oh, hey, what's up, Butterball? And he's like, hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, hey. You get the Chatterer on the line. It's just a bunch of clicks. It's like, maybe it's Morse code for like, take it out, you know? Is it hard? I got no idea. Writing down the dots and dashes frantically on paper with one hand while you're beating it with the other. I don't know how this works. Somebody's into it.
Absolutely, clearly. Otherwise, this number wouldn't exist.
So there you go. Next time you need to explore untold pleasures and pains from angels to some and demons to others, you just check out old Chatterer bait.
In life,
you
were lonely and depressed,
and you had a penis.
You called
in your
a 900
hand.
number, and you talked to Butterball, and you got off, and you paid $2.75 a minute,
and $4.99 for each additional minute.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, all kinds of new ideas here on the newest installment of Dead and Lovely. Here with the host with the most, it's me, your good buddy Uncle Ben,
and me, Hollywood Steve.
On today's episode, we're not going to be talking like this, but we are going to be talking about Return of the Living Deed, Part 2.
Part 2. They returned, and then I guess they went away, and then they returned again.
That's true, but it feels like they never left.
It really does. It feels like, you know, they were here with us the whole time.
Yeah, they've always been here. Mm-hmm. It's kind of nice. It's like a warm hug.
It is.
But it's a cold hug because they're very dead.
It's a cold hug and your brains get eaten, but it's there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to get to talking about that one later on. If you want to get straight to the movie chat portion, there's a timestamp for you. But if you got any brains, you'll kick off them socks and shoes. Stick around, hang out with the boys. We're going to have ourselves some co-beers and a little bit of a chin wag. You want to crack one open?
I do want to crack one on. I want to call out what you did there when you said you emphasized brains.
Thank you.
Because zombies like brains.
I'm glad you noticed that.
That's what he was going for.
It's kind of some on-brand humor, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've got myself a Saucy Brew Works L Lager Amber, Mexican-style amber lager. I think we've had this on the show before, and it comes to me from our good buddy, Mr. Roger Dean Miller. He actually gave me this one a while back. Hopefully it's still good and tasty.
Yeah. I am also drinking something from down south, though yours isn't from down south. It's from up north, trying to appear to be down south. I got this at Belmont Station from our guy, Stephen Byer there, who is, I came in and he was like, look what we just got in. And it was Jarritos, the Mexican soda.
What?
has started making hard sodas.
Dude, it's about goddamn time. You're talking about those clear, fruity sodas that you get at a taco truck.
Yes, absolutely. That's every time I've had a Doritos, it's at a taco truck, and every
that's
time
the
I'm
right
like,
time.
"This is perfect." Yeah, this is the
Oh my
pineapple. It's 5%, and honestly, it looks exactly like Doritos. Oh man, I'm excited.
I'm sure
for
that
this.
that's glorious, man. And you know, the pineapple is the swinger symbol of DTF, and I'm sure that their sody pop
Is
is
DTF.
DTF, as in down to fizzy foam. You know what I mean? Oh, down to fizz.
As I poured it, it did fizzy foam, so it is clearly.
Oh man, it's
DTF.
ready. It's ready to get inside you. You know?
Man, that
Ooh.
tastes like a fucking Doritos.
Like how much liquor is in it? Is it like 4% or is it like
It's 5%.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Doesn't
Medium octane.
There's really like such a minimal alcohol flavor to it because you got that strong like pineapple super sugary flavor. I guarantee this has got so much sugar in it, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
absolutely tastes exactly like what you want from an alcoholic Doritos. So way to go, Doritos.
Now all you need is that in one hand and a goddamn Al Pastor taco in the other hand, and you're gonna have a good time.
I keep saying Doritos. Is that it? Right?
You know
Doritos?
what? I wasn't gonna question you because I mean it does start with the J.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, but for some reason in my, white people hunky brain, I've always said jarritos, keep them with the jalapenos and the quesadillas, you know? I don't know.
I was like really questioning myself, like, wait a second. I've always assumed that this is said with Spanish flair.
I assume, yeah.
But you know, what if it's not? What if they're like, no, we sell this to gringos. We call it Jarritos.
Well, somebody in the comments let us know, even if you're out there wearing a pair of them big old baggy blue jean Hinkos. You know what I mean? Them Hinkos. Maybe you's rocking some of them things. Get that dang old iPod Nano out your pocket and let us know.
If you put an iPod Nano in a Jinko
It's
pocket,
gone.
it's gone. You're never
It's
going to find
vanished.
it.
Never again, man. Never again. Yeah, so we're both kind of having some Mexican style beverages, man. This amber style lager is a delight. It's like 4.4%. Would also go great with a taco. So good. Saucy does great work, man.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely. And I do have a beer over here I'm going to try a little bit later. But I really just had to taste this Doritos. It's so good. I mean, it's exactly like if you could have this in a taco truck, it's probably exactly what I'd go for.
Get you some dang refrescos. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In your boca. Get that thing in your boca.
Get it in your boca. They say
It has been a long time since we spoke and recorded an episode. It has been maybe 4 hours.
Yeah.
A few hours, man. Since then, I have had myself some incredible chicken gyros that my wife made that were so fucking good.
That's awesome.
I drank half a bottle of wine and
loosened up.
watched a great episode of Supernatural in which them
Awesome.
Winchester boys had to team up with an ancient witch to fight some witch sisters who were bringing their witch mom back as a damn old zombie.
Okay.
And all kinds of fun occurred. It's the
That's-
best show, dude. It's fucking best. It's awesome.
Yeah, I in between had a job interview, and I got the
Look
job.
at you. Did you take that job and did you shove it or did you not shove it? Is it an unshovable job?
I said to them, take this job and shove it my way.
Yeah. Oh, because I want it.
And they were like, here, yeah, okay, yeah, take it. And
So
I was
have
like,
it.
Yeah, cool, thanks.
take job.
And
They
I
shoved
did.
it
I took
towards
it.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
so,
you. You
cool.
said. Now, here's the thing I want to know. Before you went to the interview, I hit you up with the best advice ever for acing any job interview, which is after you have the job interview, as we all know, you stand up, you shake hands with your interviewer, and you stare them square in the eyes as you piss your pants in front of them.
Yeah.
After you have completely voided your bladder, you just kind of give them the nod and then head out. It's a move that shows supreme confidence. Any employer is looking for that kind of confidence in an employee. And whenever I told you to try that out, your response was, I'm not sure I have the confidence to do that.
Right. I don't know that I could just on command, pee my pants.
Well, it just got me thinking of a situation where you're in a job interview and like it goes fine, it goes normal or whatever, and you try the move, right? You stand up, you shake the hands, and you go to piss your pants, but you're like too nervous, and you just accidentally stand there and shit yourself in front of them. The employer is just like, what the fuck? And you get all flustered and you're like, I'm sorry, I meant to piss my pants instead. And you just maybe grab your butt and run away.
That's not an explanation. I meant to piss my pants instead.
Ben told me to. What? But you're already hired at that point, so.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, unfortunately, I got your advice a little mixed up, so I just stood up and grabbed his dick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
he was like, "You're hired." So
yeah,
it worked.
That's one move, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever gets the job done, man. Well, that's good. That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm excited for that.
Man, I haven't had time to watch anything since last time we recorded, other than that episode of Supernatural. But I did finish myself a little bookie Wookie the other night that I've been working my way through for the past couple weeks here. It's a book called Eruption, and it is a Van Halen biography with a bunch of interviews and conversations with Eddie and people in his circle, like his brother Alex and David Lee Roth, Michael Anthony, just kind of everybody who is sort of involved in the Van Halen crew. There's all kinds of great interviews with them and tales from the road. Mm-hmm. And man, it was very inspiring. It was a really, really, really great read. It's one of those ones that you can just kind of read a little bit of, pick up, put down, because it's it's not like a novel or anything where you're like, what happens next? It's like, we all know what happened.
Yeah.
Made some sick ass records and hot licks. That's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really great read, man. If you're a guitar enthusiast or just a music fan and want to know more about the man himself, the greatest rock and roll guitar player that ever lived, definitely check that out. It was a very enjoyable read.
Oh, that's cool, man. I, of course, in the last 4 hours did not watch anything, but
loser.
I smartly split up my list earlier, so I do have something to talk about. We watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
How you like that one?
I love it. It's great. I think it's amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I need to give it another shot. I think like that first time that I watched it, I was just maybe in the mood for something different, and I was not into it at all. But it seems like a lot of people I know really, really, really love that flick.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Like I really enjoy it. I think it's an interesting take on hippie exploitation, and the Manson family and stuff. And it's all, and gosh, Leonardo DiCaprio is so good in it. So is Brad Pitt. Like
Brad Pitt's awesome, man. Yeah.
I think the whole cast is amazing. Of course, Margot Robbie, and then like once you get to Spawn Ranch, like just pay attention. Everybody there is like, wait, who's what? Oh my gosh, why? She's in this? Yeah, like, but yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, great. Watched Blazing Saddles.
Oh, dude, 10 out of fucking 2. It's the best comedy ever. Still probably the best comedy ever.
You know what? You couldn't make it today. You know why?
Oh,
Gene Wilder's dead.
Oh, yeah, that's the biggest issue. Yeah, that would be really hard to do.
Yeah, he's got to say lines for the movie to work, so yeah.
He'd be way less funny in the movie being dead and all. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We were watching it and talking about the supposed you couldn't make this today.
Of course.
And it was Anna's first watching. Take a drink.
Take a drink.
And we've been watching Always Sunny, and we watched Blazing Saddles, and it was like, they currently make this today.
Yeah, Sunny's probably worse, and it's on television.
Yeah, and so like, yeah. Shut up.
As long as it's understood that these are bad, stupid people, you can do that. Now, you can't make those kinds of jokes and be like exploitive and terrible and superior about it. You can't do that.
Exactly what I was going to say is when people say you couldn't make this movie today, you know that person thinks the movie's funny because they're saying the N-word.
Yeah, right?
That person doesn't know why the movie's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Also, we watched A Fish Called Wanda.
I love that movie, dude. And like so few people I know have seen it, and what a fucking cast. It's great.
Okay, so here's the thing. I loved it as a kid. Watching it now, it's like pacing's off. But what
Is it?
Yeah, what's real off about it is John Cleese. And I'm not just saying this because of his political views. He wrote and produced the movie and cast himself as a guy that Jamie Lee Curtis falls for. And I'm not convinced by it at all. And then Anna and I were talking about it, and it's like, you know what? If Kevin Kline had played the John Cleese role and John Cleese had played the Kevin Kline role, it would have made way more sense.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Kevin Kline's got it going on. He's great.
Yeah, he's great. Kevin Kline's amazing. Anytime Kevin Kline's character has to be an asshole, it's like so unbelievable because it's like, it's Kevin Kline. He's charming.
Yeah.
But if it was John
likable.
Cleese, you'd be like, yeah, I believe this.
You know, that's fair. Honestly, yeah. If those two kind of like role swapped, it would probably work better, wouldn't it?
But it's still got all sorts of charms and whatnot, and I still enjoyed it. And those poor dogs. Those poor dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also watched The Green Knight, and boy, I loved it. Thought it was great.
Did you? Okay.
Very much enjoyed
I didn't like it. I was so bored watching that movie. What did you like about it?
It's like the Arthurian legends, but
So?
combined with more of the Celtic mythology, and those stories are interesting to me. I like them.
Fine. Have it your way then. There wasn't no cars in it.
That's true. I did find that disappointing. I thought at some point he'd be like, well, I'm going to get in my car and go there.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Weren't no Van Halen on the soundtrack neither because they hadn't made Van Halen yet.
Yeah, and that, you know what, that makes the thing more boring automatically because they hadn't made Van Halen yet. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a stupider age. Obviously. Back in a stupider age.
That actually does explain a lot about you because, like, I feel like your love of culture starts in 1978-ish, right?
Correct. Yes, literally, yes.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
That checks out.
Yeah, it does. It checks out, yeah.
My timeline is BVH, and AVH. That's my timelines right there.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Honestly, it's a great selection for when to really separate timelines.
Yeah, exactly.
Once Van Halen came into existence, things got better.
That's right. That's a strong marker in my opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what, honestly, think about it this way. Things ain't gotten any better since Eddie Van Halen died either.
I ain't seen nothing getting no better. Have you? You heard any sick fucking guitar solos?
I'm just
since
saying.
Then? I don't know.
You're probably right.
Might be right.
We also watched a movie called The Devonsville Terror, which I think it was trying to make a feminist message about witches or whatever, but it really just ended up showing a bunch of witches get murdered. Yeah.
So it's like, go witches, die.
Die, go witches, die. But I don't know. It certainly had that guy from Office Space in the cast.
Okay. All right,
Like,
that's good.
We were watching it, and it's like, who is that? Oh, it's that guy who was from corporate who was doing the interviews in Office Space that wasn't John C. McGinley.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So it certainly has that if you're looking for movies with that guy.
That's good. It's good to know. Sometimes I'll look for that.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's what we've been watching on.
Dude, I'll tell you one more thing that just hit me that I did check out the other night on the YouTubes. The newest video from the guy who is making the best music-related content on YouTube, Pat Finnerty.
Okay.
Pat Finnerty, dude, I'm telling you, you don't have to be like a guitar nerd or anything to enjoy his videos. The guy is goddamn hysterical. He has this series called What Makes This Song Stink?
Okay.
And it's like simultaneously like a parody of so many other really popular, successful YouTube music formats. And then also just absolutely bitingly brutal, hysterical criticism of shitty music
Yeah.
God damn
okay.
it, dude. His newest one is about try that in a small town. It's like an hour long, and it is a fucking masterpiece. It's one of the funniest videos I have seen ever on YouTube. But do go back and watch all of his other stuff, because there's tons of inside jokes and like people from other videos that come back into conversation. So watch all of his shit, man. Watch like the 3 Doors Down and his Kid Rock ones are fucking hilarious. My God, man, Pat Finnerty is the bomb. His stuff is so good.
Wait,
and
he don't like ball with the ball?
No, he don't like ball with the ball, or that song he did with Monster Truck.
Well, don't tell me that, because I am the bull god over here.
He's got one on that. What's that song he did with Monster Truck? Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live, or whatever.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live.
He's like, who the fuck is out there telling Kid Rock how to live? Who is it? Who is there being like, kid, this is how you have to live?
The man grew up rich. I guarantee he's not been told how to live literally once.
Dude, so with that kind of thing in mind, you're going to fucking love this Jason Aldean video that he did. It is so funny and just rips it apart from every possible angle about why it's a big piece of shit song.
Okay.
So fucking good, man.
Awesome. Sounds
amazing.
Great.
And I started watching that Summoning Salt video about the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out world record. The one that's like 2 hours long.
Yes. That... Woo. Buddy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I watched it a couple weeks ago when it came out, and it's exhaustive. It really goes into depth about the continuing change in the speed runs of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, because that game, it just keeps going. People just keep playing it.
Well, and the thing is when you get in there and you realize that the people that made the game put these mechanics in to where if you punch this guy at the perfect frame, like 1/60th of a second frame, then you get like a special star punch and all this shit. Why the fuck did they engineer this game this way? Why did they put this stuff in there? There's no way they thought anybody would find it.
I think it's genius. I mean, like,
it's amazing.
Yeah, to just like that they keep discovering new routes and new little things that the game does, that if you know how to manipulate it, or you know exactly when to punch or whatever, you can do things somehow faster than everybody else. It's wild.
Insane.
Yeah.
And dude, they were like programming games this deeply on an 8-bit system. I mean, the entire file for that game could fit on like a grain of rice. Probably less than a fucking a damn grain of dust is more like it these days.
Uh-huh.
But then we have these multi-billion-dollar gaming studios putting out fucking unfinished games with glitches and all this garbage in them now. Come on, man. Things used to be better back when I was a kid. That's what I'm trying to say. Excuse me. Everything was better when I used to be a kid. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I think it's because the games are just way more complicated now.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, if you were to play like a UFC game thinking like, oh, I'm going to get a frame perfect punch, it's like, well, the game is different every single time somebody plays it. There's not like...
it's not really there,
Yeah.
Totally awesome, though. That guy knows how to tell a story. I don't know how this guy, Summoning Salt, puts together these stories about these gaming records, like shit that I do not care about. I do not care about speed runs. I don't watch them. I never attempt them. I don't care. But it's really just about how, dude, because it's really just about how people are so exhaustive about trying to exploit every possible thing in a game. That's what's interesting to me about it, is people's angles about going around what is the most efficient way to do this. It's amazing. I mean, the guy could probably make the same kind of videos about anti-lock brakes and they'd be just as good. You know?
Absolutely, he could. I think the reason why he's so perfect for the speedrunning community is because he's a speedrunner himself, and he held the Tyson's Punch-Out record and stuff. So like it is, you know, he knows all these people, and it's great. It's like he's not only compiling history, but he's reporting. He's doing current stuff, and I love that. Like, I wish I was capable of putting together a story and a line in a way that keeps people on like edge the whole time the way he does. But
he does
great.
it, man.
Yeah,
he really does. Good stuff, man. So yeah, just been watching a few good YouTube things here lately, reading a good book. Hopefully over the next week or so I'll have time to watch some movies, man. Kate and I were talking about, now that we're in January, we're done with all of our holiday movies, and we actually have, it looks like, a few nights free on the calendar this month. It's like, man, we need to get back to watching like a new movie every week. We used to do our like Documondays, where we'd watch like a documentary on a Monday night. We need to get back into that. So trying to set some watching goals for ourselves.
Oh, that's
here.
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll get into some of that stuff. But you know what I got to talk about now?
Tell me.
Dead kids.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, we'll be very solemn then, as we'll be talking about dead kids.
Yeah, probably should be really solemn as we enter the Preview Palace.
Welcome to the Preview Palace.
That sounds very solemn. Now, we're being super solemn here, because this here movie, Return of a Living Dead Part 2, it features a damn old bully kid that gets deaded.
He does.
Gets undeaded, even.
Yeah. And this is a rare thing when a movie unflinchingly kills a child, and it's not like the thing that breaks everyone, like, you know,
Pet Sematary style.
Yeah. So it's so wild that we've actually talked about it before.
It's true. Much like how this movie is a sequel, this Preview Palace is a sequel.
It is a sequel.
To a list that we did on our Dr. Sleep episode way back in the day.
Brutal.
In which we talked about the deadest kids, but we didn't get to all of them. There's a lot of kids out there that have just been dead as fuck for years in some cases, and we didn't give them no attention. It's a disgrace.
True. It's true. And these movies that go there, you know, sometimes it's a little more solemn of an experience, and sometimes it's a more victorious time. And I want to talk about that victorious moment that is on our list, and that is in Megan, when Megan kills that bully kid. And I legit in the theater went, yes,
yeah. It doesn't seem like that was supposed to be like a heel turn for Megan.
No, I don't think so. I think it really was meant to be just like, you know how we all want this little shitty kid to go.
Kid sucks, right?
Yeah.
And Megan's like, he sucks, right? Okay, I'll dead him.
Yep. I think
she does.
That one is like, you know, it's a real rare occurrence, because I think we talked about in the first one, like the Toxic Avenger, maybe, or
Bad Taste,
Assault on Precinct 13, where Assault on Precinct 13, of course, has consequences, but others where a child gets killed and it's like played as a joke, and it's like, oh, that doesn't really sit well with me. But for some reason, in Megan, it's not played as a joke. It's played as like a victorious moment. It's played as like, yay!
Yeah, this kid's out of the picture. He was a jerk.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
And he gets deaded pretty bad.
He does. I mean, I think in some ways it's because it's an accident in a little bit of a way. Like, she chases him, he falls down the hill, and then he gets hit by that car. Mm-hmm. That it's kind of still like, well, Megan didn't technically do it, but she did rip his ear off. So
yeah, and it's brutal.
Yeah.
Good effect, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty solid one.
We've had actually just in the past few years, we've had several. I mean, we had the Black Phone, which,
definitely lots of dead kids in that thing, man. And they just be getting on that dead kid phone. Shake it for the dead kid phone, you know?
Shake it for the dead kid phone.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What's that mean? I don't know what that means.
I don't either, but it's wild. That's for sure.
I'm not sure, man. Man, these kids be dying and they can't get off that telephone. They ought to go out there in the yard and play some, is what I say.
Yeah, huh? I would agree with that. Though that is what got them kidnapped in the first place.
I'm trying to use the internet. Get off the phone.
Oh, no. They didn't have the internet yet. But yeah,
it was old-timey internet.
Those Black Phone kids, that's a real sad story. But
It is.
let's go back. Let's go back on the upswing. Nope. In Nope, those two kids that get killed, I mean, they're the villains, right?
Are we sad about it?
Because, like, you know, we do find out, we should feel bad for these people. But then also it's like, but they were trying to hurt these other people. And
They were.
You know, like it was one kid or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of a gray area with those, you know?
Yeah. And I think, you know, Nope, of course, makes it a big moment. These are big moments when that happens.
What a cool movie.
Yeah, it is. It is a cool movie. There's another movie, however, that makes it a little bit sillier and less of a big moment. Maximum Overdrive.
Well, I mean, that's the entire movie, though, right?
Right.
It's less of a moment and a bit sillier.
There's a whole bunch of kids that get killed in the beginning, but one kid in particular gets run over by a steamroller.
He sure does, man.
Yeah.
Now, that would be... Boy, that'd be a way to go, wouldn't it?
That's just like pure cocaine Stephen King decision.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And that's not even like a guesstimate on what was happening. Stephen King has said about that movie he was on cocaine the entire time he was making it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't remember making the movie.
Right.
That's a lot of blow.
Like, seriously, like, who in their mind goes, all right, opening, we're going to have a bunch of wacky montages of people getting killed. You know, a kid gets run over by a steamroller. What?
Fun stuff.
What?
What? Damn, Steve, slow down.
For real.
Yeah, man. Old school Stephen King, he went hard.
He really did, but I think cocaine will make you do that.
Cocaine will make a person do that. That is for fucking sure. Ain't no joke. Woof.
Yeah.
Man, that was a trip, though. What a movie. What a stupid-ass AC/DC-fueled movie. It's great.
It is. We got to do it sometime on the show. I can't believe we haven't gotten to it yet.
That's a winner.
Another where it's a sad occurrence, of course, when the kids go Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got some dead kids recently in that.
Yeah, just came out
They're
last
saying
year.
you can't dead kids no more because woke. They went and showed them. Cancel that. Wow.
You can totally dead kids. Woke can't stop you.
Woke can't stop them from deading kids.
Jesus. I wish they could. I wish they could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise, though, yeah, we just had that out last year, and yeah, the two older kids, unfortunately, get Evil Deaded. Man, I mean, I bet that was fun as an actor, though, to get to be
probably. Yeah,
demoned.
they probably had a good time doing that. Yeah, they got some cool makeups and got to be real nasty and body like, I suppose.
Yeah,
make a mess out of that house. You know, it's probably a pretty good time.
We got another real sad one here, and I don't know if you've seen the Spanish film The Orphanage.
I have not seen El Orphanage. No.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for you. We should do that on the show. But I'll tell you,
somebody's deaded real bad, huh?
There are children who cease to be alive. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I may have mentioned Devil's Backbone in the first list. I'm not sure if I did.
I don't think so.
But I've
not seen that one either.
One. Yeah.
Who did that movie? That's
Del Toro. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's somebody really cool. Okay.
Yeah, we should.
Del Toro, man, he's no stranger to killing some kids.
He's not. He does it in Pan's Labyrinth too. Like,
ooh, yeah, he does.
But he makes
sure
it meaningful. That's the thing. I think is like for him, it's always like it's either like devastating that this occurred or like the event itself is meaningful.
Hell, I think they ought to start calling him Benicio del Toro's Kids Apart. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Toro's Kids Up.
I do know what you mean. All
Throw 'em
right.
up.
I got two more, and one is just a classic that we had completely forgotten about, but going all the way back to the original Frankenstein, the original Universal Frankenstein, that is. He throws a little girl into a pond and she drowns.
I mean, he damn near Samara's her, doesn't he?
Oh no! Is that
damn
how
near
that happened?
Samara's her. I think he made a Samara. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we need Samara versus Frankenstein.
Obviously we do. Yeah. Hadn't thought about it, but yes.
Oh my gosh, wait a second. Her hair's all wet and down. What if we put it up and back? Do you think she'd have a big white streak on the side?
She could be, man. She could
Is she
be
the
bride of
bride?
Frankenstein. The child bride of Frankenstein?
Oh no. Oh no.
I think you proposed that on another episode is the problem with that. I think you did actually talk about the child bride of Frankenstein already.
Oh no.
Full of bad ideas on the show. Just full of bad ideas. Terrible.
But
Terrible.
listen, Ben, I don't want to end a list of dead kids on a down note. So I'm going to say Rob Zombie's Halloween is our final guy.
Ooh. Oh, well, I got a couple more to go. But yeah, that is
okay,
definitely
good.
one that features some very dead kiddage, does it not?
Oh my gosh. When he kills that bully, it is simultaneously like so brutal and also just like
It is brutal,
a
yeah.
cathartic moment for him, which is scary, you know? Like he's really that is but again, like that's what I'm saying is like, you know, Toxic Avenger shows a kid get like run over and then they back up over him and run over him again and like then like peel out tires on him and stuff. It's like Rob Zombie, you can say what you want about him, but he made that moment really effective in storytelling. At the very least, he was trying to do something with it.
Yeah, that is true, man. It is a harrowing and effective moment. And I bet after they quit filming, they asked, Rob, is that the take you want? And he went, yeah. I bet he did. But it was like more mournful. Yeah. You know, single tear.
And he had on a cowboy hat.
Well, obviously, yeah.
How are you going to direct with that cowboy hat on?
Yeah, exactly. Man, that is a hard one. You're right, man. We also, you know what, in a dang old Halloween End, that horrible piece of shit movie that came out recently.
Yeah.
Kid gets damn splattered at the first of that, doesn't he?
So brutal. Like
that kid was a dick.
Okay, yeah. That's one of those things where like I feel like maybe you include that because you make people feel like, oh, that kid's a dick, but then when he dies, they feel bad, you know?
Yeah, mixed emotions.
Yeah, it's a real like tough scene, but also it caught me by surprise, and I definitely like went when it happened. Like it definitely enlisted a laugh. Like what? Oh no!
He ended up pretty damn dead. That's for sure.
He really did. That child, no longer alive, not walking around, not talking, not saying stuff.
But hey, I got one more here I want to end with.
God. Let's hear it.
It's not just a single dead kids. It's a literal army of children that get unalived.
Oh,
and they get unalived by men, women, other children, trees, wee folk, wizards.
What?
Everybody be killing fucking kids. Everybody be murdering the fuck out of these little baby kid orcs
this?
From the damn old Lord of the Rings series.
What?
Now think about this. Think about this, man. Them orcs, a lot of them's but just a few days old.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Them Urukai, I mean. You know, they come out the ground in them little them nasty old Ziploc bags or whatever they put them in.
Yeah.
They come right out of that sack, and they're just babies, and it's like, here, kid, go fight.
And we're just cheering them on as they get killed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like the thing is we're watching there with the people in Rohan, and they're suiting up their little kids in chainmail and armor and helmets and giving them swords and all this stuff. And we're like, oh my God, the horror. They're sending these 6-year-old kids to war.
Right.
Well, yeah, they're out there fighting damn 2-week-olds, though. That's horrible. Those kids are monsters. Those are Uru kids. That ain't Uru kids. Uru kids.
I love the idea of like an animated series called Uru Kids. It's like
Uru Kids would be adorable.
What the Urukai get up to when they're not, going after hobbitses or whatever.
Dude, I'm totally imagining this where like just like in just like in Muppet Babies, they talk to like Sauron, but it's just like his like shins and his robe. Like you never actually get to see him, but he's talking to the Uru Kids and stuff in a little mud nursery,
Yeah. That sounds really cute, honestly.
Oh, it's adorable. But then those fucking Rohan, children come in there and just massacre the shit out of them, I guess.
I think it's fair. They did show up in armor with weapons. It's like, come on, You
They're
may be
pretty
2
salty.
weeks
They're born
old, but
salty.
you weren't born yesterday.
Yeah, hey.
Well, some of them might have been. So,
Some
okay,
of
the
them
ones that
may
were
have
born
been,
yesterday,
yeah.
I feel bad for. But the ones that were
Okay.
born 2 days ago, they should have figured it out by now.
Wow, man. So you're into them real late-term abortions, what you're saying.
When
Liberal.
When it comes to Urukai, yeah, I think so.
Tell me you're liberal without telling me you're liberal. You're all right with 2-day-old Urukai getting killed. All right. Ain't a life to you. I see how it is.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, listen, I until I heard it like said back to me, I didn't realize how wrong I was.
Okay. You've heard the error of your ways. Now you've changed, huh?
Yeah, I would at least wait till day 3.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Let
there
them
you go.
Uru kids live another day, you say.
Yeah, one day they get like told what's up. The second day they get to think about it. And the third day, if you haven't made your decision,
Yeah. It's not too late.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish we would have gotten old Sour Man being like, behold my army of Uru kids. They all like
I wish
scream
they
over a
made
hilltop.
little kid noises. I
Yeah.
wish instead of sounding all like "rawr," they were like,
Yeah, we're gonna get you.
They're just little babies. Little babies.
that's what they could
Come
say.
on.
We're just little babies.
We're just babies. They'd say it.
I need a scene of an Urukai just like, Daddy, hold me to Saruman.
Oh man, I hope you've seen the ones where people are just dubbed over like normal people voices
Yes,
on
I
that,
have,
right?
of course, seen that. Those are hilarious.
What's that smell? Man flesh.
Man flesh.
So good. Never ending sources of joy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Right.
Never ending.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we watched the first one around the turn of the year. We still have to get back to the trilogy because I can't just start it and not finish it.
Well, no.
Yeah, impossible.
Yep, that's right, man. That's right. Good stuff. Well, maybe we missed your favorite dead kid. Maybe there's kids out there that are deader and you want to talk to us about them. You can let us know about them over on our Facebook group. I advise wording that very carefully, lest you get removed from Facebook.
Yeah, because, the thing that we're talking about isn't a pleasant thing when it's about real people.
Yes,
It's not a pleasant thing when
talking
it's about characters most of the time
movies.
either.
True. It's true.
Yeah.
So maybe if you tell us about it, be tasteful like we are.
Yeah. God damn it. Okay,
Yeah.
do
Follow our
better than
example.
us.
Yeah. How about be better than us? That's a good start. If you want to tell us, first be better than us about it.
Uh-huh. And then off you go.
Yeah, off to the races. Well, Steve, we are here today to be talking about one Dead Kid Having movie. We're talking about a return of The Living Deed, Part 2 from 1988, I believe.
1988.
I watched this for a first time just last night.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I
Wow.
love the original. We did it on the show a while back. Do You Want to Party? Yes, I fucking do. That is
Absolutely.
one of my
Great.
favorite 80s flicks, one of my favorite zombie movies. Just so much iconic silliness and shenanigans and cool-ass makeup and gore in that movie. That's an unforgettable one. And I hadn't really heard a lot of people talk about Part 2. And the movie poster for it is like Fright Night as all hell.
Yeah, it really is.
So I didn't really know what to expect out of this one, but dude, I'm happy to say I had a great time.
Yeah. It's one of these movies that it has a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Come on. Wait, 5?
5, which
Out of 100?
yeah, which
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait, what? Like, how is that possible? And I also grew up thinking it was bad because I didn't watch it and I was told it was bad. Then later, as an adult, I watched it and I was like, eh. Then we watched it kind of recently on the Jack of All Graves watch along, and it was the perfect environment and the perfect moment for me to realize, like, oh, this is like a horror comedy version of the first one, essentially, which has really fun effects, a lot of goofy moments, and a lot of silly characters. I don't know, I'm having a good time. Seems pretty good.
What's to complain about, man? Like, I was
there are some
I was telling you on the phone. Well, there's a few things, but like I was telling you on the phone earlier, man. If you have a Friday night where you've got a large pepperoni pizza and you've got a case of Miller High Life and you have the original and then this, and you're like, already maybe 4 beers in when you start this, you're gonna have a fucking great night. That is
absolutely.
an awesome, fun 80s zombie double feature right there.
Yeah, this is definitely one to throw on at a party when everybody's just drinking, because you look over and you're like, what the hell's happening? This is crazy.
The story doesn't really matter. Like, there's a bunch of characters, but it's like ultimately they're just kind of running from place to place, avoiding the zombies, and then figuring out a way to kill the zombies. And that's basically it.
The story is simply that the town was evacuated, but this suburb is in the midst of being built, so I guess they didn't get up there.
I guess. Who cares?
But, that's clearly not exactly what happened. But then our group of people who end up together about, 20 minutes in, they are both trying to escape the zombies. And then when they meet the army guys think they're zombies, so now they're trying to escape the army guys. That's the story. That's
basically it.
Yeah, there's not like a ton going on as far as like plot moving forward, but every scene has great gags, great like effects, a lot of like silly jokes and campy slapstick stuff. It's interesting. I definitely am not mad at it.
I mean, that describes the first one in a lot of ways, too. The first one is not exactly like a fucking Coen Brothers movie or something. It's not full of twists and turns.
It's much tighter, that first one. It is definitely... It was made with intention, because this was written by and directed by Ken Wiederhorn. I'm going to say Wiederhorn. Or Wiederhorn. Ken Wiederhorn. So Ken Wiederhorn sat down and wrote a script that was not Return of the Living Dead Part 2. And then they were like, hey, we're going to buy this, but we're turning it into Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Do you want to direct it? And he said, okay. But then apparently, on set, everybody got the idea that he clearly did not want to be making this movie. So
wait, how did this guy write this movie when it starts off with these barrels of government control?
He didn't write that. That stuff was all rewrites when they decided to make it Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Yeah.
So maybe he had written a movie where some people are running from zombies in a suburb or whatever, and they're like, oh, let's just make this a sequel.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I have not seen any other Ken Wiederhorn movies, but then when I was looking through his filmography, his directorial debut is about some aquatic Nazi zombies in a shipwreck.
What?
He's got movies starring Jennifer Jason Leigh and with effects by Tom Savini.
Okay.
And he also has a haunted skyscraper movie. Like, I want to see these movies. Like, reading I was like, okay. And knowing that, like, apparently he's not having a good time making this movie, well, it still ended up well made. Like,
it's weird because, like, there's certain movies that you watch and you learn about, and you're like, oh yeah, people were clearly having a bad time. Like, you watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, know that was not a blast being on that set. And then you read about it, and it's like, oh, it was actually hell on earth filming that movie. And you're like, yeah, that checks out. This is not one of those movies that I would predict people were unhappy about being on the set of. It looks and feels to me like everybody was having themselves a good time and enjoying themselves in this movie.
I think most people were. I think Ken Wiederhorn just didn't want to be making this movie, which probably didn't help his career making this movie, especially with the reception that it got. But also, one of the returning actors. Oh gosh, which was his name? Tom Matthews. He said that the best thing about this movie was the catering. But
I mean, maybe the catering was exceptional.
That's
Like,
what I was
what
gonna
do we
say.
not know?
maybe there's some context there where he's like, it was so good. The movie's
Yeah.
great, but the catering.
Yeah, it was actually unbelievable, man. They were like custom making sushi rolls in front of you. They had a vindaloo curry on tap.
This
Like,
sounds great.
What do we
On
know?
tap. All right.
Yeah,
Just
uh-huh.
pull it. Pull the
That's
tap.
right.
Get some vindaloo. Yeah, I think, though, it's clear that a lot of people were having fun making this movie because it comes across in so many of the scenes. I
Yeah,
think,
totally.
putting James Cameron and Tom Matthews back together from the first movie is obviously silly. It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. And to
Because
have
they're
them,
not the same characters.
no, and to have them basically say some of the same lines and stuff.
Yeah.
And even like make a nod to us like we've been through this before. Like,
Yeah, I feel like we've done this before. It's
Yeah.
like a dream. How weird.
that's-
But, dude, they were so much fun in the
They
first
were.
movie. Like, their interactions together were so good, and they're just so obviously great on camera and like a funny, Ernie and Bert kind of duo on screen together, that it was fun but confusing to have them back. You're
Yeah.
watching this movie that isn't necessarily all that connected to the first one, and you have those same faces on screen as their own little duo, and you're like, wait, so did they survive? Wait, no, they have different names and they're doing a different job, and they're grave robbers and shit, although ethical grave robbers.
they,
They gotta be interred skulls.
yeah, that's when it gets good. I think that, it's an alternate universe. It's not even a sequel. This is a completely alternate universe where these two guys, somehow genetically still exist, but came up in different circumstances, and the Tar Man looks different, but Trioxin 245 still exists.
Yeah.
Like it's very much like, what if we wrote that first movie differently?
In that way, it's very much like an Evil Dead 2 style sequel.
Yeah,
Evil Dead 2 is, it's incredible, and it's one of my favorites. It's also massively confusing, where you're like, wait, this is Ash, played by the same guy that played Ash before, but he's acting completely differently, and yet a lot of the same stuff that happened in the first movie is happening here, only it's better and funnier and just kind of told in a different way. Like, Evil Dead 2 is a really confusing sequel.
It is.
And I love it. Like, I don't
Yeah,
really give a
same.
shit that it doesn't necessarily make sense. And I don't really care about this necessarily connecting with the first movie either. Although there are a few characters that do time together. The Army General guy is the same dude with the same
Yeah.
name. So that gets extra
that makes
confusing.
it make less sense.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, having continuity actually makes this dumber.
It does. It really does. Yeah, I wonder about that decision, and I assume that it just comes from purchasing a script that isn't a Return of the Living Dead script, and then being like, well, let's just throw all the elements from the first one into this story and see how it works.
Yeah, people will feel like it connects with the other one. Who gives a shit? They'll buy a
Right,
ticket.
yeah.
They love the first one, so
Yeah,
let's
so
go
there's
with it.
there's a lot of laziness to it. That it's entirely understandable why somebody would say, "Well, I don't like that," but watch the movie. Just take the movie on its own. Don't even consider the first movie. Just take this movie on its own. It's fun.
You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, the story is not solid, or it's not great. The characters are all a little bit silly, but you can. The thing is, you're gonna see them die a lot, so
Yeah.
you not really connecting to them is just like, oh, well, okay, because the gag is that people are dying, and this movie is taking that as a gag. So much in this is supposed to be funny in a slapstick way, like that scene in the car when they're fighting with the hand.
Oh yeah, the disembodied hands. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
great.
ridiculous. Yeah, but there's just so many moments where it's like they didn't have a story here, but they thought of a good gag,
No.
and that's cool.
And you know what this movie really ultimately feels like as a result of all that?
What's that?
It feels like a fake movie that's appearing in another movie.
Yes.
Like, this would be in some other, like, I don't know, like a John Hughes movie where
Right.
the kid brother that's being babysat really wants to watch Zombie Brain Eaters Part 3.
Yes.
And it would be showing this every time it's on TV. And you'd be going, man, I want to watch that movie. Well,
Yeah.
you get to watch it now.
Yes, you get to watch it now, and you get to realize like why it was in the background of another movie. But also, it's fun.
It's totally fun, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 80s as fuck. Like, you're following a kid as the main character, our kid Jesse here, who starts off getting all bullied by some 80s style bullies that are, I think, 34 and 35 years old.
Yeah.
Trying to get him in their little club, and he's got his 80s ass comic books and shit, and he's watching his, I think, sister do some 80s ass aerobics.
Yeah, it's his sister. Yep, she's doing some 80s ass aerobics. That aerobic tape, of course, will come back later to fascinate some zombies, which is funny.
I love that. That
Yeah.
was so stupid, man. And then you got that, dope smoking army truck driver that lets loose some barrels of toxic waste. Like, it's just 80s as fuck stupidity.
The joint he's smoking is so 80s.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, that is
if-
an 80s fucking spliff for sure.
Yeah, if you're listening under the sound of my voice and you have never smoked weed from somebody from the 70s or 80s and had them roll a joint, it's going to look like that. It's going to look like a gnarled twig with way too little weed in it.
Yeah. It's probably also not going to get you high. Even
Not
if you
at
smoke the
all. Not
whole
even
thing.
kind of.
It's just silly 80s goodness. And in that way, it kind of reminded me a lot of like Night of the Comet. It's not as good as Night of the
okay.
Comet. I
yeah,
really
Night of the
enjoyed
Comet's
that
great.
movie. But in the same way that movie is just kind of a prototypical 80s zombie movie. It's kind of everything you want out of an 80s zombie horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
This has kind of a similar vibe with maybe a little bit of like Monster Squad thrown in since we got the kid as the main character.
Yeah. And that like this is a kidified version of the first one as well. Like there's not there are no boobs. There's
No
they're not-
trash in here.
Yeah. There's not
No
a
Quigley.
ton of cursing, but you're still going to get a lot of like, jaws getting ripped off and faces getting mushed into like green goo. But that's also it's more kid friendly because it's not blood,
Yeah. Like all the zombie gore and stuff is pretty goopy and like Nickelodeon-ish.
Yeah.
With like green and blue goop blood. It's never, I mean, it's like graphic, but it's not like shocking in any way.
Right.
In some way that would like scar a kid, I don't think. Yeah, like it's all very fun, goofy zombie gore in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think like we've talked about it kind of recently with like Ernest Scared Stupid and stuff like that. Late 80s, early 90s period was just a period where they were kind of leaning horror stuff towards kids because it wasn't doing as well in the theaters, and they saw that their audience on video was largely kids. So like you're gonna end up making your money. So you put a kid in as your main lead. We talked about this with the Critters episode. Just have a kid as the lead so that the kids watching can have someone to identify with, and then you have all your goop and your goos, but you don't get to throw in nudity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It is kind of kid friendly in that way. It doesn't feel like a kid's movie, but you're right. It kind of does feel like that 80s. Yeah, whatever. The kids will watch it kind of thing,
the
right?
80s idea of a kid's movie. these parents of latchkey children who are like, what are kids like? I don't know, like squelchy things,
dead people,
I think.
heavy metal. They put some Anthrax on the soundtrack.
Listen, they weren't wrong. The
soundtrack in this kicks ass.
It does. It's great. It's awesome.
It's got Anthrax in there. It's got Bad Case of Lovin' You. Like, there's some fun ass shit in here that was a blast. Apparently, the original soundtrack was like god awful, and they replaced a lot of it.
Yeah, luckily, because the songs in this I think fit exactly. Like when Bad Case of Loving You starts playing, I really did. It hit my brain like, how did they afford this?
Yeah, same. Yeah, totally, right?
But apparently the theatrical version that was released had a different soundtrack, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the word on that, man. And there's a lot of humor in this as well. Like, I think this one might be more overtly funny than the original. Like,
Yeah.
the original has some stuff in it that is definitely
Yes.
hilarious, but I think it's like drier humor. But
It
this
is.
is a little bit more, I don't know, upfront and slapsticky at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really like trying to make you laugh. You know, you got what
It
you
worked.
did. Yeah, it did. It did. James Karen and Tom Matthews in the first one, as you said, it is a lot of dry humor, and they're carrying over their like banter, so they still have a lot of dry stuff going on. Where like two of the things that like when he's trying to convince him to be a grave robber with him or whatever, he says two things that are just so funny as these like really dry responses. He says, in talking about trying to get a skull, he says, it'd be dishonest for us to give them skulls that weren't buried.
Exactly. Yeah. There's some integrity in what they do, right?
You don't want to be dishonest when you're grave robbing. And also, when he runs Jesse out of the mausoleum, he says, them kids, they have no respect for the dead. Makes you sick, doesn't it?
I loved whenever that one zombie was on the phone with the kid trying to fool him into coming back to the hospital. And then
Yeah.
our doctor gets on the phone with him. He's like, you're getting punked, kid. He's like, tell me who the president is. And the zombie's like, you can see the zombie's thinking about it. And he's like, Harry Truman? Like, there's just some stupid ass shit like that in here that did crack me up. It was some pretty effective laughs in here. I don't think anything was like reaching or trying too hard. It all had a pretty good effect on me.
Yeah, and also like, even though we've seen this before, the James Karen and Tom Matthews in the hospital like changing in the first one, it's like sad.
It kind of is.
In
yeah.
this one, like the doctor comes in and he's like checking the older man's reflexes, Ed, in this movie, and it's just like so silly. Like the doctor's also great too. Like
he's fantastic.
So much more like a vaudeville performer.
Dude, I love
great.
at the end of the movie as they're walking off, he's like, how about we get a cocktail? He's like, kid, you ever had a Shirley Temple? You ever had a purple knee high? You ever seen a grown man drunk? Like,
yes.
what?
Yeah. And I that feels like it's clearly a reference to the airplane joke, right? You ever
It
seen
had to be, right?
A grown man
Ever seen a
naked?
grown man naked?
Yeah.
I love, too, dude, that after our man Joey turns over and he's going after his girlfriend, who is, I'm pretty sure is the singer of Paramore, right? It's that girl.
Haley Williams, she does look like her, yeah.
Pretty sure it is. But he's like, baby, your brain smells so good. It's so rich and spicy. But he says it like that. Like
he does.
Says it
it's
really
like such
weird.
a whiny tone to it. Yeah.
But like the idea of brains being rich and spicy.
You know what? I'll never know.
I don't know.
Never know.
Yeah. For all I know, perhaps they are. But
Yeah.
he's like following around. And he's just like, ooh, like all those dumb little groans and stuff that he does. It's so goofy, man. Dude, it's fucked up, but I laughed so hard when it got to that part where they drive by that pet store and the zombies are just mauling a pet store. Like, that's one of those things I never thought about. Like, man, what would happen if zombies got in a pet store?
It wouldn't be
There's
good.
Like
it wouldn't
dogs
be good.
and cats and birds and everything. They're just eating an entire pet store.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I think, like, honestly, this toes like it walks a very interesting line of like, sometimes watching like a trauma movie, to me it's just like, this is just like being ridiculous and offensive for ridiculous and offensive sake, right? This, I don't want to see a pet store ravaged by zombies. Is it funny when it happens in this movie? Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, they don't show you anything.
Exactly.
Like, it's not like
They do
fucking
it well.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3, right?
Right.
It's the total opposite of that.
Yes, that's right. This movie, Return of the Living Dead 2, more sensitively handles animal slaughter than Guardians 3.
How about that? Put that
How
in your pipe
about
and smoke it, Disney. That is fucked up, though. That's a Disney movie.
Yeah, that's a Disney movie, and this one, is obviously much better for the children, is what I'm saying.
Clearly, yes.
I think there's just the effects in this, like, not
awesome.
to say they're better than the first one. I think the first one has great horror effects.
Hell yeah.
That have
These are
some
different.
silliness. This is silly, muppety horror effects, and I like it.
That first, like, Tarman that we see, that, like you said, is very much like an alternate reality, version of the Tarman that we saw in the first one. He is very muppety and kind of has some googly eyes and some more hokey looking teeth. Like, it's a great effect, but I don't feel like it would, like, terrify kids. You know? But it looks
I agree.
fucking sick. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I also wonder, and I just have to assume, the half zombie, that had to have been played by an amputee, right? Like,
surely,
yeah. Because they would have had blue screen technology at this point, but I don't know they would have used it.
It doesn't look like it is, man.
Yeah, and
I loved that effect when he gets shot in half and, like, the legs keep walking and just the torso is all squirming around.
I had
so
a question
fucking cool.
about that. Like, I understand how they found the actor that had lost his legs. How'd they find the actor that lost his upper half?
Well, here's the thing. You know how you talk to people and they're like, well, we're not related. He's my half brother.
Oh, okay.
They found one.
Yeah, they found one. They found a half brother. Gotcha.
His bottom half brother.
Bottom half brother.
He's my bottom half brother. He just legs. He don't talk much. He just legs.
I love it.
He's quiet.
But yeah, that effect is awesome. The walking legs effect looks great. Like him, walking on his arms. I was wondering if they were doing some wire work or if that was just like all muscle.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, that was a cool way around that, though. That was definitely cool. I love the lady zombie that has the worms coming out of her face. That
they
looks
like poke
fucking
out,
sick.
which is ridiculous, but it looks cool.
It's like kind of Medusa-y in a way,
it is.
Almost Gorgon-esque. But that effect is cool, and she comes back a few times. There's also just like the severed head zombie that talks. That reminds me very much of the I Can Feel Myself Rot zombie from the first one. Looks very similar.
The look is very similar, but this one, instead of having like this like conversation that makes you fear the rotting of death, she's just like, "Hey, y'all, don't burn me with a flamethrower."
Why is she so southern? She's like trashy.
I don't get it.
I love it, though.
Gave her the most like backwoods southern accent.
It's fantastic. And there's like a couple different zombies in this that get their skin like blown off or like steamed off or burnt off.
The guy that got blown in half, that's how he gets killed, is steamed straight in the face. Well, I guess it didn't even kill him, it just burns his face off.
Yeah. Damn, what a life, what an afterlife, man. This guy dies, comes
real.
back, gets blowed in half. Plum
he just
does a
wanted
handstand.
some lunch. Like, come on.
Yeah, really. Give a guy something to eat here. And then gets his damn face steam clean.
Rough.
It looks awesome. All those effects where like skin gets burnt off look really, really effective. Same with the severed head lady at the end of the movie. She gets blowtorched and that looks fucking sick. I love the jaw rip too. There's all kinds of dangly bits.
It's so good. Yeah. They're just like the effects in this, as we said, they're muppety, they're puppety, they're cartoonish at times.
And they're in bright light. They're all in very direct, bright light. So you can see everything.
You're never mad about it, and it's always great work. Like, yes, like I could see somebody just seeing a still and being like, ugh, that doesn't look as good as the first one, but it's like, but it looks good. And when you're watching the movie and you feel the tone of the movie, it fits the tone of the movie.
That's the thing, right? It totally makes sense for this flick. Like, if you put part one zombies in this, they would be too scary, too grisly looking. If you put these zombies in part one, it'd be too goofy looking. But I'm with you. I think they really match the tone of the movie in a really effective way. And they look unique to me. Like, they don't look like, pancake makeup Smurf Romero zombies.
Right.
They don't look like crusty Fulci Zombie 2 flower pot zombies.
Right.
They really kind of have their own thing going for them. It's very, I keep saying comic booky because it is. They look very much like comic books. And I feel like even with Jesse being into comics, the comic booky feel was very intentional for this movie.
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah. I think, like, they show a good bit of Jesse, going through his comics and looking at his Master Blaster comics, which
Masterman,
that's right. Who he has a Master Blaster, and it's just like one of those pet peeves of mine from the 80s to even today. You still deal with this. Anytime they wanted to put like a comic book or a video game into something.
Oh, dude. I said the same thing while I was watching it.
It's like they turned to their grandmother and said, like, what's a good comic book name? Or what's a type of video game a person would play?
Right?
I don't know. Master Man, leave me alone.
I mean, even the original Halloween, Tarantula Man, Neutron Man. I can see why your mother doesn't let you read these. Like...
Yeah, what's wrong with neutrons? You hate neutrons?
He's into science. Come on.
Yeah,
I said the same thing while we were watching this. I got to Masterman comic, and I was like, God, another not real comic book. But like now I look back at him and laugh. But
yeah,
back in the day, I'm with you. Whenever I'd see a video game or a comic book in a movie, I'd be like, they're doing it wrong.
Exactly. And he says on the cover, my Master Blast is only making it stronger. And it's growing.
I thought that would come back. Like, I thought that would give him like an idea for, oh man, we're only making these zombies stronger every time we shoot them or something. I figured that would come back because it shows us those panels and he's reading it very intently, like, I should memorize this and so should you for the movie.
Never comes back. Ben, I'm about to crack open a beer. I gotta wet my whistle here.
I could hear it's getting a little dry and whistly.
I got this Brew Hose Brewing 3x3. This is a triple hazy IPA.
Lord of mercy.
10.5%.
3x3, that's a 9, but I say, yeah.
Yeah. Steven's been holding this for me at Belmont Station for a little bit.
Probably pretty warm if he's been holding on to it for a little bit.
He had to the whole time. He was just standing there with it in his hands.
Wow.
I'm pouring it. It is so hazy. It looks just ferocious. I'm telling you what.
All in my beer.
I had an IPA the other day that reminded me that I really do love IPAs. Like, they can be really good.
Yes.
So I'm
actually so
actually
bastardized, man. Like, there's so many of them that suck. But I'm with you. Whenever you have one that reminds you of why you like them, like that's the experience I had whenever I had Zombie Dust by Three Floyds. I was like, oh yeah, this is what IPAs fucking taste like, and I love this flavor.
Yeah, so this smells to me like a nice kind of funky, slightly maybe tropical fruity IPA, which I'm into. Haven't had anything like that in a while though, so about to find out about it.
Refreshing. Yeah, I totally got burnt on those, man. Too many of those tropical, juicy, funky, IPAs that I had that were hazy and shit. I had too many of those in a row, and I'm kind of done with that style of beer. But if you've not had one for a while, might be plum refrescos.
Really good. Yeah, it is plum refreshing. Like, it's juicy, but not like that. Like really strong citrus type of juice that kind of catches you in the back of the tongue. It's more tropical, fruity, orangey, but it's just like, it's got a sweetness to it, but just like a light sweetness that really rounds it out. Oh man,
nice, good and boozy.
That's what I was about to say. You can't taste the booze in this. I could slam all of this right now, and that would be a mistake.
Oh man, get straight to your liver.
No, this is great.
Nice, man.
Thanks,
Sounds
Brew
like a
Host.
tasty choice. Sounds like a tasty choice right there. Silliest zombie in the movie. Fucking thriller zombie that shows up for no goddamn reason. So good. I was not anticipating that. It's even like kind of at the climax of the movie where they finally lure the zombies to that power station because they've learned that like in this zombie universe you can electrocute zombies and that's what
lightning
kills
will do
them.
It. Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they lure them into that power station and they rig up all the cabling into those puddles where the zombies are walking and they lure them in with all the cow brains, which is hilarious. And they start to zapping them with the electricity, and they're all gaga-gagging, gaga-gaga.
Uh-huh.
And then just walks into frame. Here's a thriller zombie doing some gaga-gaga.
All right.
Too.
Now, here's the thing. One, I love that they included the thriller zombie. Love that. That's
yes.
funny. It's a funny little joke. They decided to do it on the day. It was an improv idea. And knowing that the director wasn't having fun, seeing that the makeup department put 3.5 hours of makeup on this guy, seeing that they it feels like the director was like, all right, I'll turn the camera on and you can walk out here and do your thing, but that's it. Because why was he not already in his fucking mark?
I think that makes it funnier. Like the fact that it's like all that work to put that guy in that makeup, and it is maybe, what would you say, 2.5 seconds just for that gag for him to walk on screen at a weird moment.
2.5 seconds is him walking onto set.
Walking onto set.
Come on. You couldn't, seriously, they just couldn't put him in a corner they haven't shown yet. And, Nope.
Nope. He wants you to see. I think he even makes eye contact with the camera. So I
think so, yeah.
Seeing this is thriller zombie.
Probably looking back to hear the director say action and see the director just flipping him off or something.
Yeah. It had to be so fun being a zombie extra on this. That's something Kate and I kept saying the whole time because there's a lot of zombies in this, a lot of extras.
So many. Yeah, and the makeup department's huge.
Goofy-ass stuff, man.
Yeah, it's great. I think that's great. I love, in The Walking Dead or something, especially in those early seasons, when they would just have these gigantic herds of extras as zombies. Because that means all those people showed up that morning, psyched to get their zombie makeup on. Everybody's out there just trying to put on their best zombie performance. Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And a lot of people were there putting makeup on these people, yeah?
Yeah, their makeup department was real big. But they definitely needed it. I mean, you look at these scenes, how many zombies are in full makeup they're showing in light. They're not trying to hide them. They're just showing them. It's like that scene where Mitch Pileggi shows up as this saw gun using army guy, they have just that whole crowd of zombies coming toward them. Just pay attention in that scene. Everybody's makeup looks great. It's a huge crowd of zombies all coming toward the camera and going down, and new waves coming, and it's just more and more good-looking zombie makeup people.
I love the scenes of all the zombies rising up out of the ground. That one gets his hand stepped on, and then he learns to retract it back and shit.
Yeah,
so stupid, man. But
a lot
it's fun.
of jokes in that. It's fun.
Totally, man. I do wish though that we would have had a totally butt-ass naked Linnea Quigley zombie in there somewhere.
Agreed.
It doesn't have to be a big feature, but just have her, run by the camera and be like, yeah, and then run away.
Yeah,
get Quigley in there. Come on.
Yeah, because it's just iconic from the first one. I have a hot sauce sitting in front of me that has trash with her tits out on it. It is iconic, that moment. And then to go to your sequel and not have some nod to it. Even if you're not going to show nudity, you can still do something. What if the head was Trash's head? How about that?
Yeah, sure. Exactly. That could have been easy. Or just some disembodied zombie boobs that were just bouncing around with a life of their own.
Yeah,
you're I know those boobs.
Okay, listen, disembodied zombie boobs. That trademark dead and lovely. We're making that movie.
That's our grindcore band for sure.
Disembodied zombie boobs.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. It just makes sense.
Love it.
Yeah, that would have been fun, man. But yeah, I do kind of hate that there wasn't that punk element. Like, that's part of what made
me too.
the original so cool and put a unique and fun stamp on that is 80s ass punks.
You haven't seen part 3, but that's part of what makes part 3 so cool is the punk element.
Do you think 3 is better than 2?
Yes. As a movie,
shit.
like as like a fresh new idea. You're not gonna. It's not a horror comedy in that. I mean, though there's still comedy in it, of course, because that's just like a part of these movies. It feels like. Yeah. But I think it's a better movie. It's Brian Yuzna. It's
Oh shit!
Yeah,
okay, sign me up then.
And that's the thing is like I'm singing this movie's praises, but like put it into perspective. It's not as good as the first one, as far as a horror movie.
Yeah,
it's a good horror comedy though. Like I'm like praising it for that, but it's not. We're not talking Shaun of the Dead level horror comedy where it's like, oh, this like makes me feel stuff and also makes me laugh. It's wacky. It's supposed to be cartoonish. It's for a good time, but it's still there's. As we said, the story's pretty light. The characters are just kind of going from set piece to set piece, but the set pieces are cool, so you can't complain about it. Like, it's just hard to complain about the movie while still admitting, well, it's not great, but it's I'm not going to ever turn down if somebody says, you want to watch Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Totally, yeah, of course I am. I do wish that our main characters had some more charm. I mean, Ed and Joey returning from the first movie, they're great.
Yeah,
and their chemistry is still there. But like with our main characters, we got this little kid Jesse who's fine.
He's fine. He's in The Blob as well, 1988. Yeah. That kid had a good year.
Yeah, exactly. So he's good, and there's like Tom, the cable guy, who's kind of nothing. Yeah, really.
Dana Ashbrook. I mean, his character's nothing, but it's Dana Ashbrook. Like they really screwed up not giving him more character because he is a good actor. But you're right. It's like
the kid sis and the girlfriend are just kind of like annoying and hysterical a lot of the movie.
Yeah,
they don't really have a lot to do.
That's so true. They don't give any of the women anything to do. You got the mom of the bully who the bully kills. You got the girlfriend who Joey kills, and then you got the sister who survives to, I guess, make boring babies with this guy.
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah.
But there's not really a lot to them, and I mean even the original, which came out years before this, had, I think, more female characters that had more personality to them.
Absolutely it did. Not like a ton, but Trash at the very least was very much self-possessed.
It's a memorable character, Yeah. So I don't know. I do wish that the female characters would have had more to do in this, but also the male characters also don't really have a lot of charisma or personality to them.
And I feel like when somebody's like, we want to buy your script, can you turn it into a completely different thing? You're probably not going to have your heart in it.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
You're not going to turn down the check. I get that, especially getting, offered to direct it as well. It's like, well, at the very least, I can guide it to something I like. But no, he couldn't, so he got sad about it, and I understand that. But
Dr. Guy had the most charisma. I love that the Dr. Guy was like never really impressed by anything that was going on. So he was just trying to get a drink.
The whole time just keeps being like, we should get a drink. We should stop in for a cocktail. Yeah, like the whole time. He's the most charismatic person in that main group.
By a mile.
Yeah. There's just like, as I said, Mitch Pileggi, I think he's charismatic in his moment, barely in it. The doctor shows up about halfway through. Like, you're not starting out with a lot of charisma, though the kid is good. Like, he's not the best actor, but he does have a good kind of, Kevin from Home Alone feel, this kind of precocious kid who almost knows we're there, He seems to be talking to us.
Shitty, annoying kid, which is great. Yeah, that's something a lot of 80s horror movies really suffer from, is just having
an annoying kid,
character kid, that's just irritating as shit. So he's a likable enough kid, I suppose.
He is. And giving him a bully makes you, want him to succeed more. So the bully
kid, a bully that has a club that he wants to join. I couldn't figure out the whole club angle.
He was bullying him. The club was basically, they were trying to, get him to do stuff that would hurt him. It's not a club.
Got press ganged.
Not a club. He's getting press ganged, yeah. But yeah, no, the bully kid, they definitely were going for like the kid in A Christmas Story, right? Like
for
in
sure.
casting
Scott
there.
Farkus.
Yeah, they're like, find me a Farkus, please.
Go on farkusfinder.com. Find me a Farkus.
And that, I mean, like, you got to grant it to kids that are asked to play bullies. Like, they're actors, so they probably aren't really bullies. Maybe.
I hope.
But probably not.
Probably not.
And he does a good job of being hateable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. He's got that bully face. He was born with a bully face.
He's got that bully face. And it's just like, you know, when he gets the trioxin in the face, you're like, little ass.
Bully. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun, man. Like, overall with this movie, I don't know if I have any kind of, like, social messages I can pull from this or anything. It seems like it is just a straightforward, let's make a fun, goofy, gory, silly 80s zombie movie. It almost feels like a character of an 80s zombie movie. I don't think there's a lot of message here exactly.
No, not at all. I do think there is one maybe like thing to take away that is important, and that is you never know where Doug Benson's going to pop up.
Oh my God, dude. Fucking Doug, what's his podcast? Doug Loves Movies?
Yeah, Doug Loves Movies. Yeah. Doug Benson, early in his career, did a ton of extra work, and he is in this as a high-pitched voice zombie. He is also, I think the year before or after this, the Michael Jackson thing, Captain EO, he's in that as like a background dancer.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
He'll just take any damn gig, huh?
I mean, listen, I get it. Like, if you're struggling in LA and you can get a job as an extra, it's not gonna be the best job you've ever had, but they pay you for the day, and at the very least you're on a set instead of working at a grocery store or something. You know?
Hell, you've done it.
Yeah. Oh shit. Listen, any opportunity you can get to be on a set if you're trying to get in entertainment, take it.
But yeah, overall, it's just a fun movie, dude.
It is fun.
I can't really complain much about it because I don't think it was going for much more than it was. I feel like it succeeded at doing what it went out to do.
Yeah, I agree, and I can't fault it for being successful at that, because it meant to be a slapstick comedy that is not focused toward the story.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
It is not going heavy on horror, but the zombies look great. The horror elements, the goop, the gore, they look great.
It's all there.
Yeah, you can't really complain about it. It's just what how much value do you assign to a movie that is that. I don't know. I find it very entertaining.
Same.
It's not a movie. Like, if somebody was like, I don't really like horror movies, what should I watch? I'm not bringing up Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Yeah.
But if I met somebody who loved horror movies and they were like, I just really love goofy horror movies, I'd be like, have you seen Return of the Living Dead Part 2?
Sure.
Because that should be on your list.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So,
anything else you want to say about it? You want to rate it and get out the door?
No, I think I'm ready to rate it, but I don't know exactly where I am on that. So you go first.
I think just in terms of sheer enjoyability, which is usually how I end up rating movies anyway.
Yeah.
I have a fun time watching this. Like, I want to watch it again for sure. Like, this will be one that I watch on an average Tuesday night in October. I'm not saving this for a Friday, I'm reserving my Fridays
not like
for my
a headliner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is definitely on the huge poster of the October Halloween Horror Movies Festival band list.
This is
definitely one of the ones in the smaller font. But it's still there. It is still there.
That's right. You still get to play. Hey.
Exactly. So for me, I think this is probably like 6.5, 7, maybe.
Okay.
I had a good time.
I thought I was going to be lower than you, and I am, but not terribly so. I think, a long-standing my middle of the road movie is The Autopsy of Jane Doe, though I really need to rewatch that movie, because I would say in comparing The Autopsy of Jane Doe and this, I have more fun with this, but I think The Autopsy of Jane Doe is obviously a better done movie.
Fair.
But I know I should rewatch Autopsy of Jane Doe and give it a second, like, rating maybe, and I don't want to. But if you were to say in 2 weeks, do you want to turn on Return of the Living Dead Part 2, I'd probably say yes.
Right.
So
That's a sign.
considering that, I gotta put it about middle of the road with like a 0.1 maybe. So I'm gonna say like 5.1 to 5.5 ish area.
Okay.
Yeah, I still think it's great. It's just, you know, I understand there's not a lot to it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't succeed at what it's doing. It
Sure.
succeeds. Yeah.
Yep. That's fair enough, man. We want to hear what you guys think about this one over on our Facebook page, where you can hang out with us, our Instagram page, and all of our other social medias, which you can find using our Linktree page.
That's right. Yeah. Linktr.ee/Dead and
catchy.
Lovely. That's
Rolls
right.
off the tongue, doesn't it? Yeah, for sure.
Also head on over to our Patreon page. That's right. Patreon.com/Dead and Lovely. If you become a patron on any level, you get access to our Patreon exclusive episodes. That's the Hell Rankers episodes. Ben, if you do another book club, we'll toss it on up there. Any of those number of episodes we got up there. There's a whole lot of stuff. We got a Hell Rankers on Critters coming out this month, so head over there if you want to hear about the Critters franchise. But if you want to throw a movie in the smoking bowl and maybe get your movie on this show, become a $5 patron and just toss a movie on up there on the Patreon page, and I might just draw it out and we might just talk about it.
Well, maybe we do that indeed, but not before we talk about what we're talking about next week.
That's right. I'm excited for this. We are talking Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
I could have sworn
We
we had done this.
I know, right? Because this is one I loved back in the day, and have rewatched and been like, I see why I loved this. I do want to talk about this on the show, but I think it may be the best since Dream Warriors. It may be in the series, in the franchise. I think so. So excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's like in a top, maybe in a top 3,
Maybe,
top
yeah.
5 Freddy movies. I think it's in a
Definitely
top 5.
top 5. Yeah, definitely.
So
top
I definitely
5.
have 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And this one in there, but I think like 1, 2, and 3 all better than this one, I believe.
Okay, all right. So
yeah,
yeah,
in a top
that's next week.
4. We'll be talking about that one, so be sure to tune in then, where I will be Uncle Ben, bitch.
And I will be Hollywood Steve, bitch.
Bitch, we'll be that lovely bitch.
Bitch.
Bye.
Bye.
We've got a brand new product coming to you from the makers of Protein, the only protein supplement for bros guaranteed to not contain cum. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You know you can trust us because Protein is the only protein supplement guaranteed to not contain semen from a man. It says so on the package.
That's important to me.
But we over here at Protein know you're not going to be living off of protein shakes like a baby now, are you? You're a man, so you need to eat a man meal with lots of protein for your gains, right?
Obviously, I need my gains. I gotta have my gains.
Take that wimpy steak meat out of your life and replace it with Brofu.
Oh, Brofu. Okay, what's this made out of?
Brofu, the only bean curd absolutely guaranteed to not contain cum. Look on the package. It says it.
Okay, there's
go to
no
the grocery store. Look at your other bean curd tofu meals. Do they say anything about not having cum in them?
You know what? I would believe it if they did have cum in them.
That's right, but you can trust the Protein Promise with Brofu. It says right there on the package, no man's penis has ever even been near this stuff, so it's definitely not gay.
That helps. That helps because, there's a segment out there looking for gains, but also worried that perhaps there's semen in the food they're eating.
That'll slow you down, bro.
That'll slow you down, sure. Yeah.
That's right, because you can't say the word gain and say gay at the same time. I guess you kind of can. I mean, gay. Okay, gain.
Okay, maybe you can do that, but that's not important because
that's not our best slogan.
Semen in here.
We're workshopping that. Yeah, there's no cum in it. Okay, the biggest thing you need to understand: there is no cum from a man in Brofu.
Now,
so it's safe.
You keep saying no penis was even close.
Not even close.
To the Brofu. So, you only employ women in this tofu factory. A Brofu.
That's correct. Factory. Yes.
Wow,
of course,
okay.
The Brofu factory made by ladies.
That's pretty pussy hat slay of you guys.
Because ladies should be making the food for the man.
Oh, okay. All right. I see how that came back around.
Keeping the ding-dongs away from the food that goes in my mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I do.
I don't want that kind of protein in my life. I want protein and Brofu only.
I get it, because there's no cum in it. That's important.
Exactly. That's the Protein Promise. You can trust us. Really. We're straight.
The more you say you can trust us and it's right there on the package, the more I'm thinking there's cum in there.
Seriously, bro. Seriously. Look me in the eyes, bro.
Okay.
Do I look like I'd lie to you, bro? I'm serious. Bro, I'm serious, man. I'm serious.
Okay.
Brofu doesn't have cum in it, and I don't want it to.
All right. There's no cum in there. Fine. I believe you.
I don't want semen in my protein.
All right. Listen, I believe you, and you don't even have to tell me again. I believe it. Totally believe it.
It's glad to be heard and believed.
Yeah. Wow. Brofu?
Brofu!
Yeah.